Viewer discretion is advised.
Chargers, you got blown the out in Super Bowl 29, 49-26. You drafted this moron, you let this guy walk. And now your games have less attendees than a Westboro Baptist Church membership drive. Also, you Spanos. You let talent go so often, you've earned the reputation as a franchise that isn't interested in paying anyone. It's bad when every other holdout is over, but Melvin Gordon's isn't. That Phillip Rivers guy, you would have been better with Eli or Big Ben if they even wanted to play for you. The 2010 Chargers were the best team in the NFL, and they missed the playoffs. Have fun sharing a house with the Rams next season. Your dream of becoming the Clippers is now complete.
Talk to me, alright? Knock it off!
I actually like these uniforms, but apparently nobody in the largest market in the United States does. About 2 hours south, these shirts make great kindling for fires. I'm not gonna say it. You want me to say it? Tree's not gonna say it. That's not even my meme, and the meme is dead. The StubHub Center, the Sunnyvale trailer park that is the temporary home of the Los Angeles Chargers. While not serving as the double wide to the LA Galaxy, this 16-year-old stadium gets to hear the raucous cheers of blank you Spanos every Sunday from now until the taxpayers shell out for the Chargers' new home. With the smallest seating capacity in the league at 27,000, the one-level bowl sometimes looks like the stadiums in Brazil following their disastrous World Cup. Do not have mascots. That's the New York Giants, New York Jets, Green Bay Packers, Washington Redskins, and the LA Chargers. So fans of those teams, you are spared the derision.
This team lost to the fucking Cleveland Browns. That is more than enough proof that this team is a lolcow. Oh, come on. I'm actually supposed to put effort into this? God damn it. That game represents the history of the Chargers in a nutshell. Keep it competitive, don't really blow anyone away, and choke the game away with untimely defensive and special teams collapses. Every year of their recent existence has been a perpetual game of let's waste Phillip Rivers' career, but with more disappointment and apathy. But let's face it, what makes this team pathetic isn't what happens on the field, it's what happens off it. Constant flip-flopping and threats to move the team to the greener pastures of Los Angeles have only managed to piss off loyal fans. Last year, it was all but set in stone that this team was moving, only to back down from it and stay in San Diego for another year. Now they're kinda sorta moving. Kinda. It's like a broken relationship where the couple is only staying together for the dogs. All it accomplishes is misery and people laughing at Dean Spanos. Dean, if you want the team to stay in San Diego, I suggest a softer approach. Observe.
Homelessness. It is something that none of us should ever have to go through. Your Chargers are almost at this point. The team that has constantly disappointed you and forced you to age by decades needs to replace their 50-year-old stadium. No team should have to play in these horrible conditions. For just $1.1 billion, you can help a rich old white man fulfill his ambitions of pilfering the city of San Diego for a stadium that will probably be obsolete in 20 years. If this money isn't given to Dean Spanos, the Chargers will have to move to Los Angeles and be forced to be a tenant in a stadium owned by the Rams. Please. That team hasn't been relevant since the early 2000s. Their owner is so cheap he can't be asked to buy a decent hairpiece. No one deserves this fate. Don't let Dean Spanos smoke cigars and drink 25-year-old scotch without a true home. Help pass Measure C and make dreams come true.
See? If you tried that, the measure may have actually passed. But enough of the lampooning. This constant bullshit about strong-arming a city for a new stadium and threatening to move the team only hurts one group of people. The fans. The people that have stuck with this team through thick and thin have been jaded to the point where they simply stop caring about the franchise they grew up with. They wouldn't mind the Chargers staying, but not with all of this baggage and empty threats. Where do I see them next season? Probably in Los Angeles, being in the shadow of another franchise. It mirrors the team, really. Irony is such a bitch. Congratulations, San Diego Chargers! You've officially become the NFL's laughingstock of the month! You get to finally pack your bags and move to the beautiful metropolitan box known as Los Angeles. Tell them what they've won, John. Well, Chargers, you have to wait for a stadium to get built. Don't worry, though. You'll play in a soccer stadium that only seats 30,000 people for the time being. And you'll probably have a hard time filling it unless the Raiders are in town. Yes! Instead of giving San Diegans the worthy farewell they deserve, you gave them a home game dominated by Chiefs fans. Just wait until they start watching your team to see you fail. Now Phillip Rivers will get to have his career rot several hours north of where he once was. And it gets even better, Bill. They get to move into a stadium that they don't have any sort of claim into. They have to pay rent to the Rams. Absolutely beautiful. And it's in the heart of Raider territory. LA doesn't want them. The NFL didn't want them to go there. And they pissed off San Diego so much that they didn't want them there. What an incredible future for the Chargers, John. A beautiful golden parachute for Dean Spanos as it raises the value of his franchise by a few $100 million. What a goddamn travesty of a league.
So we gotta add more of these lightning bolt thingies, one to represent each one of Phillip Rivers' kids. And now we gotta flatten this logo, just like y'all got stomped in the playoffs last year by the Patriots. Chargers fans, salty, salty, salty. You have more failed playoff runs than kids pumped through Mrs. Rivers' vag. And really, most of your fans are either current San Diegans that absolutely hate Dean Spanos and all of Boltland, ex-San Diegans who can't figure out that living in LA sucks, or LA residents who just found out they have this fancy thing called the NFL that they play in a soccer stadium. Sorry, Charger fan, you salty.
Sport has changed. It's no longer about fan bases, camaraderie, and passion. It's an endless series of labor stoppages fought by greed and ego. Sport and its consumption of dollars has become a well-oiled machine. Overly sponsored games carried by overly sponsored networks, using sponsored gear. The lust for more revenue consumes and controls their desires. Concussion control. Information control. Stadium control. Local populace control. Everything is monitored and kept under control. Sport has changed. The Chargers yearn for this age of control, all in the name of a $1.1 billion stadium in San Diego. Of course, this was when the city told these spineless sacks of shit to fuck off the Coronado Bridge. They were right. San Diego was never going to recoup the devastating cost Measure C would have flung on them. The Chargers were going to break their hearts once again. At this point, after doing years of fuck all and expecting a stadium to fall into his lap, Dean Spanos throws his hands into the air and says, "Well, I tried." Forget lowballing Joey Bosa and contract negotiations. It was time for them to find their outer heaven, a land for football and glory aplenty. For now, they have found it.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Los Angeles, the city of angels, a fertile land that is yearning for a second team in 2 years. They want a team that will make the city proud to call its own, a group that has a rich tradition and loyal following in the area. They wanted the Raiders. What they got was their forgettable cousin to the south. True, the Chargers did start in Los Angeles, but they were there for a year back in the 1960s. Obviously not the homegrown fan base they were desiring. Besides the Rams and Raiders, they were the most popular team in the region. After the Seahawks, Broncos, Cowboys, Steelers, 49ers, Cardinals, Giants, and you get the goddamn point. Also gotta mention the Patriots, because damn the Patriots. What the Chargers did is the tried and true saga of every vapid 2-bit floozy that thinks they're hot shit and moves to LA to fulfill their delusions of grandeur. Sit down and listen for a second, child. The thing about Los Angeles is that unless you are a proven commodity, the city will eat you alive. LA has no time for wannabes. There are far too many options for Angelinos to even feign attention to the arrogant small-time starlet. Even worse, the Chargers effectively destroyed their old mother base in a fire of fury. The last thing San Diegans appreciate is another professional franchise fucking off to play second fiddle in their older brother's house. They now have to start over in a 30,000-seat soccer stadium for a few years before paying rent to the Rams to use their metal gear. The Chargers have reached liquid stage. Little did they know that the mockery and derision would be far from over. In the safest terms possible, the fight for LA has been an unmitigated disaster. The Spanos family was greatly overconfident in how the area would embrace the team. When an NFL squad fails to sell out their inaugural preseason game, regardless of location, giant alarm bells should be ringing. They continued throughout the season, a mother base that was constantly invaded and griefed by opposing teams. And former fans would troll Spanos in the skies above the stadium. And the FAA would allow it because StubHub Center was too small for their regulations. The Spanos family got a rude awakening in LA. The city didn't give a fuck. Let's just say they were the first team to play 16 away games in a season. Sections of the stadium were either loaded with opposing fans or tarped off because they couldn't sell a grossly overpriced experience. Seriously, $100 to fucking park? It got so bad for the Chargers that there were rumblings that they would be forced to move back to San Diego, a city that was relishing in their failings. Everyone felt the Chargers moving to LA was a really stupid idea, but no one knew it would be like this.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
The true dagger in the heart of the Chargers came in the form of their future landlord, the Rams, a team that had long been the equivalent of Jeff Fisher suddenly got good. Their genome soldiers were loaded with the latest nano machines to dominate the league. Los Angeles had their true team back as they showcased one of the more exciting offenses in football. The Chargers, an 0-4 start as they hit rock bottom. But then something interesting happened. The mercenaries and their so-called recessive genes started rattling off wins. Suddenly, a team that was forgotten and maligned had a chance at winning the goddamn division. True, they had a paper-soft schedule, but going 9-3 is still no small feat. Then comes the injection of Fox dye. Their terrible luck from San Diego also came with them. The Chargers missed the playoffs via tiebreaker. This was one of the hottest teams in the league for the second half. How in God's name did they miss the playoffs?
Second time, and it is no good!
No, I honestly can't think of anything that would hold them back.
On the way.
It definitely doesn't have to do with them having double agents as kickers.
Lambo's kick partially deflected and still goes through.
Played us like a damn fiddle!
Do you want to know who I truly feel bad for in this situation? The players. They didn't ask for this. They didn't choose this fate for themselves. They merely wished to fulfill their childhood dreams of playing in the NFL. Little do they all know they are now locked into a total quagmire. Let's say the Chargers get buyer's remorse and move back to San Diego. If you thought the attendance in StubHub Center was pathetic, just wait until they return to Qualcomm. Remember, their last game in that city was dominated by Chiefs fans. San Diegans had enough of the Spanos family and their shit. The only way that San Diego re-embraces the Chargers is if Dean Spanos is gone or walks around in a cardboard box. Even then, what are the options? LA doesn't want anything to do with them, and the NFL will stubbornly try anything to make sure this venture isn't a failure. Remember, all but one team approved of this move, this slap in the face to every San Diegan by the league. This team is Metal Gear Survive, an entity no one wanted that's years late on trends and suffers deserved backlash as a result. They chased after a market that once didn't have a football team for 20 years and has a team already establishing dominance, yet many of their old players will forever rue their name or call them the San Diego Chargers. Congratulations, you are football's version of the Clippers. All we can hope for is that, like Donald Sterling, Dean Spanos is revealed to be a massive racist, but I fear he is too spineless to even be that. It's sad because this team has a lot of talent and their players seem to be a relatively likable bunch. That defense in particular is fucking stacked. The Chargers should be the lovable underdog of the league, yet they are nothing more than a tragic afterthought. And it's all Dean Spanos' fault. This is where you shouldn't feel bad if you don the Charger bolt. You should embrace it. You're a team without a nation, the ultimate mercenary squad. You are the Diamond Dogs, a team not held back by borders or cities or any physical barriers. You aren't tools of the league or anyone else. You fight for yourselves. You fight for your future. It's what you believe in. You fight to prove everyone wrong.
Unit lost.
Typical Charger luck. Curse their recessive genes.
You mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. The important thing is that you choose life, and then live.
Hello? Fuck you, Spanos!
Where's my lunch? And what are all those people looking at? Oh, here comes the girl now. But where's she going? We want our grub. No, folks, this is no Brooke Shields look-alike. The $1 million teenage model is doing a 3-week internship at the San Diego Zoo. Brooke loves animals, so when it came time for the seniors at Dwight Englewood High in New Jersey to go off for a month of independent study, Brooke's pal, the zoo's Joan Embry, helped work out a stint here. At a news conference, she talked about her work. At the zoo, that is.
You spend most of the time actually preparing their meals because they're very specially prepared. I mean, they don't just get bananas or just anything. They get all different kinds of fruit. and you spend a lot of time cleaning their, where they live.
Brooke Shields cleaning a cage, preparing animal food?
The first day I got in there, they said, all right, here, here's a hose, you have to hose down the cages, or, here's the food, you've got to cut it up for lunch. And it just, I was put to work immediately, so that eliminated any sort of a problem. And people just didn't, they realized that I was a student intern and that I was there to help as much as I could.
Brooke says she'd like to work more with animals, probably when she retires, though. She does plan to do some campaigning for endangered species. In the more immediate future, it's back to New Jersey soon to prepare a slideshow, written report, and oral presentation on what she learned at the zoo. Lorraine Kimmel, News 8.